Triple the teams, triple the action, baby. This year's new look college football playoff format is just a big boy version of what we've grown accustomed to, so let's not act like the SEC's heavyweights haven't been here before. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to stay on top of the SEC. 3, 2, 1. Here's how the playoffs are shaping up, and right away, I can tell you that it's about as plain as vanilla ice cream. No real shockers to be had here. What does this year's first CFP rankings mean for every team in the SEC? It's interesting that the committee dropped Georgia behind Ohio State, but given the state Carson Beck is in, I can see how they're ranked below a couple of Midwest mud stompers. Georgia's win at Texas came in clutch, giving them a solid second ranked W to add to their resume. Only loss came at Alabama, which should be a quality loss by committee standards, right? The Dogs just need to split the next two, at Ole Miss and Tennessee, and they're golden. But even if they somehow drop both, they'd still have a solid case. Texas is a one-loss team too, but they're on a shorter leash. For Sark's squad, it's simple. Win out and they're in, but they better not stumble at Texas A&M in the season finale, because Quinn Ewers' graduation could come early if they do. Actually, that might be something to be excited about, with Golden Boy Arch Manning finally getting the spotlight. Not helping the Longhorns' case is the fact that they have 0 wins over any current top 25 teams. Vanderbilt doesn't count. Tennessee's got the path laid out for them. Win out, and they're 11-1 with a statement W over Georgia. No questions asked. They're in. Now, if they at least put up a decent fight at Georgia and go 10-2, they could still squeak in on the strength of that big win over Bama. But they're not in cruise control yet. Regular season finale at Vandy smells like an upset to me. The Aggies are sitting at 14th, not in the dance yet, but they're on a mission to run the table, especially against Texas, and they're knocking on the door. But nothing's promised here. Their shot at the big show hinges on the rest of the field not flipping the script on them. And Kirby Smart nailed it when he said that the committee's mood is known to shift faster than a tailgate when the kegs run dry. One to watch. This weekend's Bama vs. LSU game is one to watch, and we've got some serious playoff stakes here. The loser's staring down a third loss, which in playoff terms means you're a leper. But is it really over for the loser, and does the winner cruise to the promised land? If the Crimson Tide lose, that's 3 losses to ranked squads and a gigantic win over Georgia, plus a few other good wins, which we all know the committee loves to spin as quality. So, yeah, they could still argue their case, but man, it's shaky. I wouldn't take that risk if I were Kalen DeBoer. As for LSU, they need this win bad. They've already lost to an unranked USC and got dropped by Texas A&M. Their best scalp so far? Ole Miss, not exactly screaming playoff contender. Speaking of Ole Miss, here's the deal for them. Lose to Georgia and the Rebels are toast. But if they pull the upset, now we're talking. Because finally, they'd have a ranked win and a 10-2 record if they keep winning. Problem is, they've got that ugly home loss to Kentucky and not a lot else to brag about. So even if Lane Kiffin's boys shock Georgia, they're still waiting on the committee to play nice and the rest of the playoff picture to break their way. Missouri started this season with sky-high expectations, but man, they face-planted against ranked teams. Texas A&M and Bama obliterated them, handing Mizzou 2 losses by a jaw-dropping 65 points combined. Ouch! Their shining moment? A 3-point squeaker over Vandy. So now Mizzou's all in on hoping the Commodores get some respect to make that win look halfway decent. But even if the Tigers run the table and go 10-2, they're still begging for a miracle to make it into the playoff conversation. Big teams rooting for them. Then there's Vandy's absence from the rankings. It might not seem like a big deal, but teams like Texas and Alabama would love for Vandy to sneak in there. For Texas, it'd mean a ranked win. For Bama, a ranked loss. But hey, even without that, the committee might throw them a bone for knocking off teams with winning records or bowl-bound squads. So if Vandy looks halfway decent, that's still a small win for these playoff-hungry squads. Everyone else, let's not waste each other's time here. Cue the outro. Right now, the SEC is sitting pretty. We know the deal, and these early rankings just told us what we pretty much already knew. The conference has its claws in the playoff picture, as always. Surprise, surprise. I'll be back next week to give you an update on that Bama LSU game, so if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button over there. See you then.